Mario Strikers is finally back! After 15 years, the spin-off where characters from the Mushroom Kingdom play a very violent kind of soccer is finally back. I'll be honest with you all, when I bought this game for Wii at a really low price years ago, I never imagined how much I would enjoy it. I was expecting just another Mario Sports spin-off. And oh boy, I was wrong. Strikers is much more than that. There's a lot to this game. Even after all those years without a new entry, Mario Strikers is stuck in my mind. I was always thinking about that specific Wii era, and there was a nostalgia with that game. That's why in this video I want to highlight how much effort there is behind Mario Strikers and how it managed to be more than just a spin-off. In case you are unaware, this series was developed by Thank you, Daisy! Next Level Games worked exclusively with Nintendo for a long time before being officially acquired by them in 2021. If you look at other projects that they worked on, such as Punch-Out or, of course, Luigi's Mansion, you can see that they are not exactly big masterpieces produced with a ton of budgets. Except for Luigi's Mansion 3, their projects are on the smaller side. However, what grabs your attention when you actually play them is how those developers can cram so much personality in every aspect of their games. It is like a movie, in which you can recognize who the director is just by watching it. Next Level Games has a specific style. That style conveys a feeling that they had so much fun designing each detail, making the final result incredibly expressive. Of course, the fact that they are masters at animation is also a big help. Their animations are the closest that Nintendo games ever were to an animated cartoon. And yeah, if you want to make comparisons, Next Level Games kinda reminds me of Hair. They are able to bring a similar whimsical vibe with technical prowess. However, in my opinion, there's quite a road ahead of the Canadian studio to reach the same level of Hair. They are definitely on the right track, so it will be fun to see how they will grow in the future. Okay, now knowing who the creators are, it's easy to understand why Mario Strikers is so special. First, the idea of choosing soccer or football. It's a very obvious choice, the most popular sport in the world. Here in Brazil, where I live, soccer is a big part of our culture. But then things start to get interesting because they do not simply bring the existing Mario world to the existing sport soccer, which is usually what Camelot does, right? When you look at Mario Tennis, golf, the approach that Camelot follows is to recreate those sports in a very faithful manner and then add some crazy Mario elements to them. I'm not saying that this is bad. Actually, I think sometimes people really underestimate how much effort Camelot puts into recreating those sports in a relatively faithful manner. Mario Tennis Aces on Switch even simulates a challenge system, which I found awesome. However, instead of following Camelot's approach, Next Level Games almost created an entirely new sport. The basics of soccer are there, but the majority of the most complicated rules are completely ignored. I get the impression that their inspiration was actually on street soccer, because here's the thing about street soccer, at least in Brazil, as long as you have a ball, a couple of people and literally anything to indicate where their goal is, you are good to go. There's no judge, no foul, none of the more boring stuff. In Mario Strikers, it seems that somehow a form of informal soccer became the main attraction in that futuristic world. It's a variant of the famous sport with a huge focus
on violence.
You see, contact is inevitable in soccer, but that's why there is a judge to indicate when things go too far. And then we have Mario Strikers where scenes like this are very common. The stakes here are truly higher than ever, and man, it is fun to play. You are never safe while controlling the ball, someone can kick you very aggressively at any moment, and you can just kick back right after. I mean, being honest, I'm not going to say that this game is perfectly balanced, but it works so well because it's a blast to witness and be a part of all the absurdity happening on the screen. And the controls are very tight. Every time you hit someone, the impact is palpable. It's not even remotely similar to something like FIFA, where they are actually trying to simulate the sport. Everything feels arcadey and easy to control. This game forced me to buy other nunchuck for my Wii, cause the multiplayer is that good. It's funny, cause there's no actual story mode here, like what we saw in recent games from Camelot. But even so, the world building is really strong. Stadiums, characters, animation, in every little detail there's an expressiveness, an original aesthetic. You can even hear the crowd shouting the name of a character sometimes. I felt way more entangled in Mario Strikers world than in the story modes of the recent Mario Golf Super Rush, even though there I was controlling my character and reading dialogue. Again, I'm not trying to throw shades at Camelot here, because they are just following a different approach, but it is curious to see how Next Level Games managed to find such a fresh approach to the Mario Sports formula, showing characters that we know and love in a different light, with more nuanced expressions, animations, and in crazy settings. It makes the overall game much more interesting. Most of what I'm saying here can be applied to the first two entries in the series, with the second one on the Wii, Charged, going way harder in all those concepts. It is my favorite one, and a game that I frequently go back to play with my friends. Okay, now 15 years later we have a new game just announced, and the big question is, how different will it be? All that we have at the moment is one trailer, but I can say for sure that yes, some things have changed. In the first take of the trailer, I already noticed that the visuals are more similar to the modern look of Mario's brands. Look how similar the aesthetic of both sides of the stadium is to the one used in the Super Nintendo World Park in Japan. That specific visual started on Mario 3D World, and Nintendo has been using it as the standard look for the brand for a while now. In other moments of the trailer, we see other characters' stadium. For Luigi, of course, there's a spooky mansion, and for DK, the usual jungle look. Oh, and the critters as goalies were replaced with Boom Booms, which I would argue are some of the most generic designs that we have in the Mario world. I'm guessing that this was Nintendo's decision and not Next Level Games, because it seems to follow the pattern that we saw in Paper Mario, for example, where they want to implement more elements of the already existing and established Mario world. I don't like that, and I hope that Nintendo will reconsider for future games. But even though the aesthetic is different, it still looks awesome. They managed to retain a distinct style. The idea of two stadiums come together is really good and keeps the futuristic look that the series had. Characters can still use crazy gears, but now with more room for personalization, and the usual expressiveness of Next Level Games is still here also, with godlike animations, in specific the specials. Oh my god, they look so good. And the most important thing, the game still is incredibly violent. That's something that I was afraid it would not come back. But yeah, from what we saw in the trailer, nothing changed. I don't know why, but somehow Strikers managed to feel more violent than Smash. I'm really excited to see more about this new entry, and I think it will be one of the best multiplayer experiences on Switch. I don't have problems with the changes as long as the game still brings the same joy with crazy amounts of personality. And this is another series coming back on Switch after a long hiatus. This can give us hope for other franchises. I made a video last year talking about franchises that are still missing on Switch, and Mario Strikers was one of them. Now F-Zero, Kid Icarus, Star Fox and Golden Sun are the ones still missing. Come on Nintendo, make it happen. And that's it from me guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!